In the news this week, overworked and understaffed, frontline health workers blow the whistle on budget cuts at a Midland public hospital. Nelson Liu's exclusive report.
Firm, fair and feminine, Michelle Roberts hopes pave the way for more women in politics as she becomes WA's first Madam Speaker.
Tearful farewell for the community as they bid farewell to the beloved IGA in Hilton.
And on Western Perspective, feature interview with Michelle Roberts and Dr. Andrew Miller's comment.
This is the Evening News with Ivan Learn and Sarah Smith.
Good evening. There are revelations a public hospital Midland is in a crisis, with already struggling services placed under severe strain by state government funding cuts. A source has blown the whistle, revealing to WAMN News that hospital staff and services are stretched to the limit. Frontline health workers now fear that the cuts will further hit the public hospital's quality of care. Reporter Nelson Liu joins us. Nelson, what can you tell us?
Well, Ivan, St John of God Public Hospital is facing a crisis of epic proportions, with the situation facing staff and patients described as bad and only going to get worse. A source has revealed to WAMN News the public hospital in Midland has been struggling for several years, with budget cuts now going to further affect healthcare. They've claimed patients have been nursed in hallways, its emergency department full, and staff overworked. But now state government cuts to their budget for the next financial year will worsen the situation, with a lack of funding further reducing available healthcare, beds and impact staff welfare. They say the hospital services will collapse if funding is reduced, but the private section of the hospital won't be affected because it's not funded by the government. This situation comes as a number of hospitals this week went into code yellow, too full to take patients except for those facing a life-threatening emergency. The Liberal Party says it's a situation in Perth's hospital system that's been expected. They've blamed the McGowan government for not dealing with the issue during their first 4 years in charge of WA. They've called on Premier Mark McGowan to take control of the problem.
It's completely unacceptable. This is a hospital system in complete crisis, and there's a human dimension to this. The doctors in the hospitals and in these units are at near complete exhaustion. In fact, I'm told that there is now a major problem with medical personnel taking sick leave because they are so distressed by the situation. They're so exhausted by the workload in the hospitals, and there's no break. You've got doctors working 14-hour shifts, continuously facing emergency situations. This is a situation that will lead to people dying.
Meanwhile, the Australian Medical Association in WA has responded to the concerns.
We need to have a discussion with St John's and the government to understand exactly where they're going with this, and I think the key here is going to be transparency, so that people can have full confidence that this very important part of the public health system is getting the funding and the staffing that it needs. I think it's really important that frontline workers tell their stories and that they not be in any way silenced, because we need to understand where within the system the problem might be coming, so that hopefully we can speak to those involved and prevent it from happening. I've got every confidence that St John's is a great organisation and we'll be able to work through this.
Now, the hospital has confirmed the budget cuts to Midland staff in an email, but it's too early to know the full extent of the effects to staffing and services. It's back to you.
Thank you, Nelson. The St John of God Midland Hospital has responded with a statement confirming the cuts from the state government.
A statement from the group's acting CEO, Brian Pine, said St John of God Midland public and private hospitals can confirm it has established a project to identify cost savings to minimise the impact from an advised anticipated funding reduction, due to commence from the 1st of July 2021. The objective of the project is to ensure the hospital continues to deliver a high-quality, sustainable service to patients and the community. The organisation said they will continue to work closely with the state government regarding the funding. And you can read the full story and this statement on our news website, wamnnews.com.au. Former Police Minister Michelle Roberts has made history after being named the first female Speaker of the House. She hopes to pave the way for more women to enter Parliament and the role she now holds. Helene Fung reports.
This Parliament has made Western Australian history by appointing more than half of its 59 roles to women, as well as appointing the first female Speaker, Michelle Roberts, on the anniversary of Edith Cowan's historic election.
I love the Parliament, I love democracy and the opportunity of being the first female speaker is a really exciting one.
In her role, Ms Roberts intends to give a voice to democracy and all those who have been elected by their constituencies. And while it's a huge chance from Police Minister, Ms Roberts has more experience than any other currently elected member.
23 years ago, Jeff Gallop asked me to be opposition police spokesperson in the State Parliament, and it's a role I've done for most of the time since then. I've had some other experiences, but for a lot of the time I've either been the Police Minister or the Shadow Minister for Police. I understand I was the first woman Police Minister in Australia.
Ms Roberts hopes to set an excellent example and encourage more young women to enter what has historically been a parliamentary boys' club.
I hope to set an excellent example for young women. When I arrived here, this had all the feel of a gentleman's club. It's changed dramatically.
For the full interview, tune in later in the program for Western Perspective. Helene Fong, WAMN News.
Hilton residents gathered today to say goodbye to their beloved local IGA, which is being evicted to make way for a redevelopment of the area.
Residents who oppose the plans say they want to change the rules so the community have more say in how their public spaces are developed. Residents of the Hilton area gathered today to farewell their beloved local IGA on its last day of trading. They've lost the fight to block redevelopment they say will wreak havoc on the traffic in the local area and make them pay more for reduced choices of groceries. Residents shared songs, barbecues and memories while they did their last shop. Ben Lover has been at the forefront of the fight to protect the current Hilton town centre.
I never imagined in my wildest dreams that they would fight the fight that they fought. Unfortunately, we didn't win, but there is a strong message there to JDAP and the council, and yeah, I just hope that another retailer or business owner doesn't go through what we've had to go through over the past few months.
Kyla said, a lot of us are really concerned about the process, and that the process was really unfair and unjust. I mean, when a landowner can just shut out a local business, run over the wishes of the community, ignore the local council, and even have their development approved just based on reports that they paid for that weren't accurate, according to other experts, there's something broken there. And I think we're going to look at seeing what we can do to fix that.
The Wacker ground is set to be transformed in a multi-million-dollar development into boutique sporting and community venue. The $45 million development will feature new amenities to the aging arena, with the highlight a 50-metre swimming pool and cricket museum. The state government says the venue will bring benefits to the community, but the Lord Mayor says the deal has to be right before the council can sign off on it on Tuesday.
We wanted to get a better pool and a better deal. And if we can achieve both of those things, I can't see any reason why a swimming pool will not go ahead.
Health Minister Roger Cook has announced new border restrictions following a locally acquired case of COVID-19 in Queensland. Genomic testing has confirmed that the 26-year-old Brisbane man has the UK variant of the virus. Travellers from Queensland who arrived in WA are required to self-isolate.
It means that there's significant disruption to people coming in from Queensland. If they come in, they have to quarantine for 2 weeks and be tested. Our G2G pass and other arrangements allow us to track those people, so we're confident that that system is secure. If there is a requirement for us to lift that to a medium rating, which basically means only exempted people would be allowed in from Queensland, and that's Commonwealth officials, defence officials, people of that nature, well then that's what we'll do. But at this point in time we have had no advice that is required.
The Western Australian Chinese community donated more than $30,000 to bushfire victims through the Lord Mayor's Distress Relief Fund this week. Chunghwa Association President Dr. Ting Chen says it's about supporting their fellow Australians. Perth Lord Mayor Basil Sempelis accepted the donation on behalf of the fund. Every dollar donated to the fund goes directly to people affected by the Ruraloo bushfires.
To see people respond and to see the way that people trust the brand and that they realise and understand and believe that every dollar in is a dollar out, that's been most gratifying.
We are together to make Western Australia strong.
One of the world's busiest shipping routes has spent this week blocked, costing in excess of $400 million per hour. The 400-metre-long Ever Given cargo ship veered off course and is now breached lengthways on the canal. There are fears that the canal could be blocked for weeks. Egyptian authorities are attempting to open a side channel to redirect more than 100 waiting ships. The European Union has threatened to ban the export of COVID vaccines until AstraZeneca delivers promised shipments to the EU, which has so far only received 1/4 of its contracted doses. The decision sparked controversy, with some saying it may detriment the world's fight against the virus. The United Kingdom released a statement on Wednesday, calling for cooperation and compromise.
The Fremantle Arts Centre will be showcasing some of the best new emerging Aboriginal artists over the next 2 months in their Reveal exhibition. Exhibition coordinator Jane Chambers says it's a great way to see huge diverse of West Aussie artworks.
It really is kind of showcasing Aboriginal art from Western Australia that is maybe not what you would expect. So I think the mix of like something from a desert painting to a contemporary photography to an urban kind of piece, I think you get a real, you'll be surprised about what you see here.
Times have been tough for remote artists over the COVID period, as closures of remote towns and art centres make it harder than ever to get artists and art to audiences and prospective buyers. Revealed is running from this weekend until the 23rd of May and presents more than 300 works by over 100 West Australian Aboriginal artists.
And that's our weekly news and current affairs. You can find the latest news at any time on our website, wamnnews.com.au.
From Sarah and myself, we wish you good health, good night, see you next Sunday.
Take care.